there, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. I hope that this day is finding you doing well as well. Although it is nighttime now, so hopefully you're having a good evening. But hey, doesn't know. I don't know when you're watching this video, right? So it could be any time of the day. So I hope you're doing well no matter what. I will share though, as of the uploading of this video, I did want to again share my prayers and thoughts to those who are dealing with and are affected by the LA fires that are going on right now. And actually did 2 videos ago a video allowing for information, for resources, and connected ways to help out if you should choose to want to take part in that. So feel free to take a look at that video in order to get some additional information I thought would be helpful just to share, because sometimes, we might run into situations where we want to help and want to give and things can seem a little bit disjointed and get that information out there. So hopefully that video will be helpful to you if you should choose to want to take a look at that. And then I also had an earlier video we were talking about, or I was sharing with you, and hopefully to get, your thoughts about what you think about the effects of what was going on with the backlash that Twitch boss, that is, his widow, and the fact that she had some words, an interview that she had shared earlier this week, and she has a memoir coming out, and she had shared some very I don't know if you want to call it confidential, but definitely discreet information that a lot of people had a huge issue with, including his family, friends, and fans of Twitches. So definitely take a look at that video as well. Love to know your thoughts on it. Very sad situation indeed, all the way around. There's no winning in this situation, but we definitely we're hearing a lot of the backlash and a lot of the thoughts of what people felt about what was being shared and the reasons behind it, and was it worth what you were doing in order to share that. So definitely check out that video as well. Now for this video, we are going into a case that is not quite yet completely closed at this point, now that it appears that actor Alec Baldwin is planning to, or has now begun the process of suing for malicious prosecution in regards to that powwowing on the movie set Rust. Now, as a quick reminder, quick refresher, because of course this is a very, very expose type of story, because it was just a horrific thing that took place, and the situation being the powwowing on the set of the actual movie. Now, at that point, you would have probably heard, all of the information that was going on as far as Alec going to trial for manslaughter in that particular case. It was for involuntary manslaughter, I believe. And of course, the victims of the situation, one was a cinematographer of the movie, and her name was Helena Hutchins. So may she continue to rest in paradise, and prayers to her family and friends and loved ones as well, because it was such it didn't even make sense, kind of horrific situation, very freak accident for what it appears. But nevertheless, people had a lot of feelings about that situation, no matter what side of the coin you were on. And it was a case that went through for the last couple of years or so. I think we probably heard the findings of the last hearing, which we'll go into that a little bit in the sharing here, maybe late last year or sometime last year, middle last year, something like that. So it has gone on for quite some time subsequently since the situation, the incident that took place in October of 2021. So let's go ahead and get into what is going on from this point, as it appears again that Alec Baldwin says that he is suing for malicious prosecution after the dismissal of involuntary manslaughter charge in the Rust powwowing. And now, of course, due to trying to keep YouTube friendly, there will be some words that I'll need to change, so please keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get into the sharing now. According to People, Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter charge was dismissed in July, and last month prosecutors dropped their notice to appeal, officially ending the criminal case. Now, Alec Baldwin has filed a malicious prosecution lawsuit 6 months after an involuntary manslaughter charge against him stemming from the 2021 Rust powwowing was dropped. Now, in a civil complaint obtained by People on Thursday, January 9th, the actor 66 sued prosecutors in the case, First Judicial District Attorney officials, Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office authorities, and Santa Fe County Board of County Commissioners for malicious abuse of process, intentional exploitation of evidence, defamation, and violation of the New Mexico Civil Rights Act. Now, Baldwin, through his attorneys, alleged the defendants were blinded by their desire to convict him for all the wrong reasons at any cost for the fatal October 2021 unaliving of cinematographer Helena Hutchins by way of pow pow. Now, Baldwin was indicted in January of 2024 after a pow pow he was holding on the set of the film was discharged on October 2021, again unaliving Hutchins. The charge was dismissed in July of 2024 after Baldwin's attorneys alleged prosecutors had buried evidence. Now, in December 2024, prosecutors dropped their notice to appeal the dismissal. In his lawsuit, Baldwin maintains that on the day of the fatal pow-powing, he was handed a prop pow-pow and a crew member yelled out, "Cold pow-pow," to assure Baldwin and those nearby that the firearm only had dummy rounds in it. Now, the prop fired a live round that unalived Hutchins, the complaint states. He alleges certain defendants purposefully hid evidence and lied while on the stand, aiming to make Baldwin the scapegoat for the tragedy. He wants the defendants, which include Special Prosecutor Carrie Morrissey and District Attorney Mark Carmack Altuez, to be held accountable for their malicious and unlawful pursuit against him. Now, the lawsuit alleges Morrissey delivered inconsistent testimony on the evidence she alleged concealed. It also alleges, Carmack Altuez defamed Baldwin when she said in a 2023 CNN interview that Baldwin had a duty to make sure the set was safe, suggesting he was at fault for Hutchins' death. The false and defamatory statements carry the unmistakable message that Baldwin committed a serious crime, i.e., that he negligently or recklessly caused the death of another human, court documents allege. Now, Baldwin is suing for general and or compensatory damages in an amount to be decided at trial. He also is suing for punitive damages and attorney fees. Criminal prosecutions are supposed to be about the search for truth and justice, not to pursue personal or political gain or harass the innocent. His legal team, Alex Spiro and Luca Nikos, said in a statement to People. Now, Carrie Morrissey and the other defendants violated that basic principle over and over and trampled on Alec Baldwin's rights. We bring this action to hold the defendants accountable for their misconduct and to prevent them from doing this to anyone else. Morrissey tells People in a statement in October 2023, the prosecution team became aware that Mr. Baldwin intended to file a retaliatory civil lawsuit. This was 3 months before the grand jury had indicted him. We look forward to our day in court. People reached out to Carmack and Altuez for comment, and I guess at this point, maybe we'll hear something later on, or maybe we won't. Wow. So there you have it. Alec Baldwin is suing for malicious prosecution. I really want to know your thoughts on this. And this is something that perplexes me about this situation. One, why are we still using live pow-pows on set? I mean, have we not learned from other situations that have happened on movie sets in which something has happened where a weaponry was used and a person is gone? Case in point, the movie The Crow, right? And oh gosh, what was his name? Oh, I cannot believe I'm blanking because I think of The Crow and I'm thinking about the famous karate individual, and I cannot think of his name. So if you can think of it, or if it comes back to me, I'll mention it. But his son was shot. Now, of course, everybody is familiar with that, so you probably will get it. Bruce Lee. Sorry, that's what it was. Oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've said his name. So yeah, Bruce Lee, his son, on the movie The Crow, and this was in the early '90s, I believe. A mishap, and he's gone now. And there was another situation that I recall also on the set of, it was one of those, it was kind of like those stories, those like Hitchcock stories. And I believe there was an actress who her father was on that set, and he was the one that passed away due to an accident that was on the set, some kind of car accident in the midst of making the movie. Like the movie is they're taping, recording, doing the directing and all that stuff, and this accident happens on the set. And I actually saw that Hitchcock series. I did not know about that situation until years later, but they basically taped up as much as they could, and then we find out later on that this had actually happened, so they're no longer with us. And there's been other incidences that have come up too along the ways, where there's been accidents in using certain things. That are we not in a place that we can do simulation of these things? Now there was also, in this particular case, issues with who was at fault. And there was a couple of individuals. There's a young girl right now, 23, 24 years old, who I believe got a sentence for her involvement in the situation. I think she was like the arms person in this case. And so she's, going down. And I mean, of all intents and purposes, her career is done. And then one thing that really bothered me is I had saw this interview, and I don't know if it was on Dateline or I think it was a 2020 interview. I'm not 100% sure. And Alec Baldwin had actually did the interview, and he shared about how in essence, and this is all alleged, of course, I'm going to use that terminology because I want to make sure that I'm saying this correctly. But it had a sense, the thought of the accountability, where the accountability lied. And I'm a veteran, and part of my training in powwowing and training for that, two things I remember. One, about the breathing when you're actually doing the act of powwowing and controlling that. And two, never point at something you have no intentions of using the powwowing. Okay. So that kind of bothered me, because at the end of the day, not to say that what he did was, on purpose, that he intentionally meant to do it. It was obviously an accident, a horrific accident. But my heart and thoughts go to the fact that a woman is unalived. And there was also another individual that too was also powwowed. He was injured, from what I understand, as well. And we don't get to hear his name more often, but he was injured, if I'm not mistaken. But you have the one lady, she has a son and a husband and family, and she's gone. And so my heart goes out to her. I mean, the whole situation is just so ridiculous that it even happened in the first place. But I can't help but to think about her family and what they're going through, and this being rigged through the case. And if I heard one more time about someone not being accountable for something, or allegedly not being accountable for something because of something else, it was going to make me scream. So I can only imagine what that must make them feel like. Irregardless of whatever the rules are put out there, they need to change the rules, in my opinion. There needs to be some changes to the way that these types of things are done on set, because in 2021 at that time, why are we still having this problem? I mean, it perplexes me, and I would really love to know your thoughts about it. Gosh, I mean, it's just unfortunate, and I feel bad that he was in this position, because of course, who wants to be on the other side of this kind of an incident happening? I mean, at the end of the day, somebody is gone behind this, irregardless of who wants to shift through the legalities of who was to blame. The bottom line is someone is gone. A life is lost in this situation. And so my thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Hutchings, and continue prayers to them, because I just honestly could not imagine. And I remember thinking about, as each time this case was brought back up, and looking at the time frame that I would recall seeing, information about it, and it would be around holiday time and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, this young boy doesn't have his mother, and it's just such a sad situation, and things really have to change on all movie sets when it comes to using any type of weaponry on there. Why are we not using blanks? Why are we not simulating everything associated with that, so these types of things do not happen? I mean, there should be no situation in which anything should be there where live ammunition is on set. Like, it doesn't make sense. And maybe someone who's actually in the business who maybe could speak to that. If you do catch this video, you would like to share your thoughts about how this normally goes or works, or feel free to drop it down below in the comment section, because I really am curious to why this type of thing can still happen. I mean, yes, there could be accidents and freak accidents that can take place, doing anything, right? And we do understand that. But hearing this being the situation, I just remember like a collective, what is going on, heard around the world when this was headlined and breaking news to everyone. So yeah, not to say that there was intentional situation at play here. It was a horrific accident, and of course the legalities. Well, guess we'll see how all this shapes out in the situation. But again, my thoughts and prayers definitely go to the young lady who is no longer here for this situation, and hopefully the gentleman who was also injured. I can't remember his name at the moment. I'm sure if I did some looking, I probably could find it. Haven't heard much about him since, but I hope that he is recovered fully and that he is doing okay, because we could have been talking about two people instead of just one. So yeah, at this point, it's just it's going to be interesting to see how this all unveils. If we will hear some update to it, I would think that we probably will hear some kind of result of this, since we're hearing the initial of the suing happening. So I'm definitely going to keep abreast of this, and I will share the update as it comes across into my attention, and share it with you to kind of wrap up this particular sharing. So yeah, we await and see what happens, and if things continue to move forward and where it goes from here at this point. But again, prayers to Hutchins' family, and also thoughts to the gentleman who was also injured in the situation. And, I guess prayers to Alec's family as well, and himself as well, because I cannot imagine that this kind of an action and having this kind of situation as now in your journey of life cannot be something that you would ever want to have to be a part of. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. And of course, the conversation about accountability and who does what, and because there's such a strike difference from different takes on that, irregardless, for a lot of us it doesn't make a lot of sense. So maybe now it's time, to change that. Can we get to a point where this kind of thing doesn't happen again? So yeah, but definitely, I think that wraps it up for this video. I thank you so much for being here, of course, and I would love to know your thoughts. So please leave them respectfully down below, and let's have a conversation. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that Alex should go through with this? This is just course opinion, and as in that he's going to do what he's going to do, and as the sharing says, that's what he's reportedly doing at this point. But do you think that this is something that should just cease at this moment and move on and go on? Or do you think that, yeah, he's got legitimate claims and yeah, he should pursue it? I would just love to know your thoughts either way. But with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, you haven't had a chance to hit the subscribe button, I hope that you will and become part of the family and become part of the community here, because I would love to have you. And yeah, there's many more videos that I'll be bringing to the platform. Want to get your thoughts and sharing mine, so definitely have your all notification bell on. This will be the last video for today, though, but yeah, I will be back tomorrow. So definitely make sure you have those notification bells on so you don't miss the videos. And I think with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. I thank you again so much. You take care and be blessed. And until next time, bye.